join our club WhatsApp group for future DI-related events, while the link is for our club website. Moving right along, the first item on our agenda will be about what DI is. Then we will explain why DI is good for young minds. If you're wondering how you will form a team, don't worry, because we will cover that as well. Next, we'll have a few closing words from a DI Best of the Bay region director. And finally, we will be having a live Q&A where we will answer as many questions to the best of our ability. Don't forget, if you guys have any questions, please just ask them in the chat and we will answer them in the live Q&A. Now, I would like to introduce our speakers for tonight, Jingguo and Sean. Jingguo and Sean have both been team managers for our teams from the very beginning. Over the years, there have been so many twists and turns, but Jingguo and Sean were always there to bear with us, find a solution to support us. Now, let's see what they have to say about DI.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. And hi, everyone. My name is Jingguo, and I'm a team manager as well as a parent for this DI team who is presenting today. And I think our purpose today is simple. We are going to provide some information about DI to you, and we're really hoping that we can encourage you to take part in this incredible educational program. So what is that about DI? I really want to start with the question of what kind of person we want our next generation to be. And I think we mostly, we would like our case to be a creative problem solver. That means the person can take like a problem solving as a part of their daily life, and who is equipped with skills and capabilities to solve problems, to fix things that are broken, and to assess risk, to be able to solve the problems that are broken, and also to be able to seize the opportunities. So we want them to be also innovators. That means they can fix problems and also build things really based on fundamental principles, and to do it in new ways that have never been done before. And we want them to be leaders who can provide missions, inspirations, and also motivations to the people around them. And Destination Imagination is a project-based program that is exactly designed to help our children to become this type of person. In DI, kids explore STEM and STEAM concepts in a really hands-on environment. So in this way, they can have a lot of fun while learning. And also DI is really a creative process. So that is, it's really in this with open-ended challenges which to empower kids with endless creativity. In DI is also completely kid-powered and team-driven. In DI, kids can make all their own decisions. They own totally their creations, their solutions, and also their result. And DI is also designed to have friendly competition to help each of the participants to reach their full potential, and also to root for each other at the same time. And DI is also for kids all over the globe, in which differences among each other is encouraged and celebrated. So I want to show you a few photos about what kids might be doing in DI. So they would take on DI challenges, create solutions out of curiosity and creativity. Their solution they provide is often very, very creative and mind-blowing. Then after they create their solution, they will perform this solution in tournaments in front of appraisers and audience. And of course, they will celebrate their solutions at the end. So how DI challenges are designed. So right now there are like 7 challenge categories within DI. Namely, there's technical, scientific, engineering, fine arts, improvisational, service learning. There is also an early learning challenge for kids between kindergarten and second graders. So each of these challenges are designed to have different focuses. Thus each team can have a variety of choices to take on for their challenge. And in the DI, there is also an instant challenge, which is provided to the team on spot during the tournament. And they have usually have a few minutes to solve it. This really engaged the team in quick, creative, and critical thinking. So I want to provide like an example about how a DI challenge may look like. So I have taken the previous year scientific challenge, which is called the First Encounter. In this challenge, the team is required to do research on a real species and a real habitat. They need to create and present a story about the first encounter between the species and the habitat, and show how the species and the habitat change as a result of the encounter. This is really a very open-ended challenge with an infinite number of possible solutions. And you know what, in DI, all of the solution, none of the solution is wrong. That's a really a good part about doing DI. So in our, I want to give a few examples about how a team has been doing to solve this challenge. In our regional tournament, one team performed a solution that showed us how a beaver enters into a volcanic environment, which is very, very different than its native habitat. And the story is about how the beaver ended up building like a dam within a volcano. Another team showed us a very suspenseful performance about how bacteria is taking over the body. And a third team showed us a drama play about when a Mongol enters an Everglades, what would happen to that? And look at the costumes and props, they're beautiful. I think to me, like, don't you agree with me that DI really inspiring kids to think in the most dramatic and the wildest way, which is a great part about having young kids to develop this creativity along their way. Okay, the second part, we would like to have Sharon to talk about why we would encourage you to take part in DI. Sharon?
Sean, you unmute yourself first.
Okay, sorry about that. My name is Shawn. Well, now we just learned a little bit about what DI is. I'm sure a lot of you still have a lot of questions. For parents, you must be wondering, why do I need to sign up my kids for DI? What can they learn in DI? For the kids, you may be wondering, oh, is this gonna be another class my parents set me up for? Is it gonna be fun? Well, maybe we can have a quick survey. Can we have a survey, please?
Let's go ahead and take a survey. What do you think?
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your input. Well, to tell you the truth, doing DI can help your kids learn all those skill sets listed here and many, many more. Okay, Patrick, can we remove the poll? Okay. Stop the poll.
Okay, that's
All
it.
right. I don't know whether people can see the poll result. Most people select almost all of them. I believe we didn't give people a option to select G, right? Yes, DI can help your kids learn all of those all those skill sets listed here, and many, many more. Now, let me go into the detail of each one of those skills. So first, creativity. Wait a minute. Do you see something happening? Well, where's my skill sets? Come on. I'm sorry, we may have a technical difficulty. Teddy bears, can you help? Please help. Teddy bears.
Don't worry, we'll finish the presentation.
Yeah, we got you.
It needs to be special and unique.
A creative presentation? Ah! Come on, just use your imagination. We do that all the time in DI.
Yeah, because DI has an environment that encourages creative thinking and imagination.
Wait, guys, our audience probably doesn't really know what DI is. That's a problem.
We will have to problem solve.
We have to show them what DI is all about.
Destination Imagination, DI, is a global educational nonprofit dedicated to inspiring the next generation of innovators, leaders, and creative problem solvers.
What does that even mean? Our audience won't understand.
Maybe we should tell them in a more fun, creative way.
Oh yeah!
Oh, yeah!
We can do what we think of.
In DI.
And the dreams that you dreamed of. No rules that we can defy. I.
Oh, there's so many solutions in DI.
And we all have our own strengths.
That we can apply.
Someday I'll wish upon a friend. Wake up where the fights are far behind me.
Where you learn to collaborate and problem solve and manage time, that's where
You'll find me, oh, somewhere. Kids learn to budget and self-drive.
And you learn to communicate in DI.
in DI we learn so many skills.
Like creativity. Creativity is one of the most in-demand skills. It is used in every job in every field. But why isn't it treated with the importance it deserves? Why do we seem to lose creativity as we get older? The problem is that we're trained to stigmatize mistakes. We're taught that there is a right way and a wrong way to solve a problem. We are told that our ideas are unrealistic. It is in this way that slowly but surely, piece by piece, a box forms around our minds, limiting our once limitless imaginations. As time goes by, the box grows stronger and stronger, and we find it harder and harder to think outside of it and to come up with creative, imaginative ideas. But creativity is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. DI creates an encouraging and fun environment that is the perfect place for your child to develop and in practice important life skills, such as creativity, critical thinking, and teamwork. In this environment, we do not feel afraid that our ideas will be labeled as a bad idea or unrealistic. In fact, we have been encouraged to think of creative ideas. How else would we think of a flying pig, a giant face that can vomit, or a CFL light bulb that is made of cups? DI is special because although I have learned a tremendous amount, it didn't feel like facts and formulas were just being stuffed inside my head. DI is about learning while having fun and having fun while learning. It's about the memories you make, the people you meet, and the ways you grow as a person. DI has helped me beyond the things that can be calculated, like test scores or grades. The most significant ways that DI has affected me can't be measured. How do you measure imagination and creativity? Oftentimes, the things that can't be quantified turn out to be the most meaningful ones. And that is where destination imagination has had the biggest impact in my life.
We also learn about problem solving and critical thinking in DI. There are many instances when our team had to think critically to find a solution. Multiple times, when working on a prop or backdrop, it can malfunction or fail, and it is up to us, as a team, to find the problem and solve it. For example, last year, we made a marble run designed to look like intestines. We had created a spiraled elevator-style lift system in the center of the prop so that the marbles could return to the beginning of the run and continue again in a cycle. However, no matter how hard we tried, the lift wouldn't work. It would spin for a few seconds and then somehow get stuck. After many hours of troubleshooting, we finally found the root of the problem. The marbles we were using for the run were way too big and were getting stuck on the side, causing the motor to stop moving. After replacing them with smaller ones, the marble run worked like new and went on to wow the judges and become one of our team choice elements. A huge part of DI is thinking outside the box. This means not just looking at the problem head on, but from all angles to find the most efficient and best solution. DI rewards teams that can think of new, unique solutions, and this requires teams to think critically, often in ways that are not obvious at first glance.
We develop a lot of teamwork skills in DI. Teamwork is something that we may struggle with or be really good at, but either way, we all know that teamwork is really important in many aspects of life. I personally feel like teamwork and collaboration really became important to me a few years ago. It was during our performance at Global Finals. We had a shipwreck prop that was also supposed to simulate an earthquake at the bottom of the ocean, but during our performance, the motor wasn't working. So one of our teammates had to manually shake it from behind the background. In the backstage, some of our team members had to quickly think of a solution for the malfunction. It really built our teamwork after we discussed after the performance. It was a chance to strengthen our teamwork and collaboration skills. Even if we are online right now, teamwork is just as important as before, and maybe even more. As new team managers and teammates, I know it's hard to get along with people that you don't know, but over time, teamwork will build in everyone. Some of the strongest friendships are formed through DI and teamwork.
For many of us, money is a behavior dedicated by unconscious parts of our brains. When it comes to spending money, there are two main types of people. Penny pinchers, those who spend as little money as possible. However, there are also people who buy everything that's top quality. Budgeting is an important skill in DI and beyond. A budget reveals areas where you're spending too much money, so you can refocus on your most important goals. In order to be successful, you need to find the perfect balance between both of them. Every year, we are constantly over budget. And right before the tournament, we have to cut away a little bit of this and a little bit of that. However, this makes us realize one key thing. We don't need to buy all of our props from Lowe's. We can create our own. Instead of using cardboard, we began using sheet metal, wood, and so much more. Budgeting helps us think outside the box, go outside our comfort zone in order to achieve a goal. For example, our team began making our own motors, our own hinges, our own support beams, and so much more. Budgeting is an important skill in DI and beyond.
Throughout all the years of DI, I've accumulated a lot of skills, one of them including communication. Communication was always key in keeping a healthy relationship between the team and solving problems. When we first started DI 6 years ago, it was a roller coaster of arguments and miscommunications between our team and the parents. In our first few years of DI, we always argued about each other's solutions. And the first thing we would say to each other was, "No, and that idea sucks, listen to mine." But slowly we realized it was impossible to get anything done by arguing with each other. We started trying new methods of communication, specifically allowing one person to talk at a time. This simple but effective method allowed us to move forward. Communication is a lifelong skill which is not only hard to develop, but is difficult to learn. DI breaks this complex concept down for each person and allows them to thrive and grow from their past mistakes. DI has helped me improve all aspects of my communication, from strengthening my relationships with friends and family. And in the end, all solutions for problems rely on communication, a wonderful lifetime skill.
Other important skills we learn in DI are time management and project management. This is such an important skill for kids to learn, as it will help them for the rest of their lives. In DI, we have to keep track of time and how much more work we have in the project to spread out the work and finish in time. When our team first started doing Destination Imagination, our time management skills weren't great. We would fool around during meetings and waste time. Many years, we would end up doing most of the work in the last few weeks before the tournament. But we slowly learned that if we wanted time to create a good performance and finish our props, we would have to use our time more effectively. A good strategy that our team uses to manage our project is to split up the work between different people. Each person will have jobs that they are responsible for, such as costumes or storyline. In addition, we break up each prop into multiple time periods and set deadlines for when they should be done. It's really helpful to create a timeline with meetings listed up to the tournament day. Teams will also have to manage their time every meeting. Each meeting needs to be used effectively. Our team usually creates an agenda with the tasks we want to accomplish. Time management and project management are really important skills in DI. Teams need to learn how to manage their time and project if they want to succeed in not just DI, but everything beyond DI in the future.
Hey guys, these are all great skills, but how are they going to help us in the future? Like maybe 10 years down the road. As a business person, I use many skills that I learned in DI in my daily life, such as budgeting, time management, teamwork, and communication. With my multi-million-dollar business, I'm always communicating with other companies to collaborate, working with my team members to complete tasks and come up with creative solutions, and using my budgeting and time management skills to keep everything efficient. Without DI, my company would not be as successful as it is now.
As a scientist, I use things I learned in DI in my workplace. I'm often using my skills in creativity, problem solving, and communication. Oftentimes, I will face a roadblock during an experiment and will need to problem solve and use critical thinking to think around the problem to solve it. I will have to be creative and think of things that other scientists haven't thought of to help people better understand the world around us. Then, I use my communication skills to share my findings.
As a lawyer, it's vital for me to use the skills I learned in DI for my work, including communication, problem solving, and time management. Communication is a huge part of my job. I have to thoroughly communicate my client's point of view and prove to the judge and jury that they are innocent. Regularly, I will have to problem solve to think of an efficient way to prove my point. Time management is the most important out of these three. With good time management skills, I can work more efficiently as well as solve problems more productively.
As an engineer, skills I've learned in DI help me in so many ways. Time and time again, I find myself using skills like creativity, problem solving, budgeting, and teamwork. I need to make sure that I create a design that is effective but isn't over budget. Sometimes my design doesn't work the first time, and that's okay. It's important to keep trying, problem solve, and work towards your goal. Of course, this isn't a one-man job. I use what I've learned about teamwork to collaborate with my coworkers.
As a journalist, DI skills that I use almost every day in my workplace are creativity and time management. Journaling isn't an easy job. I have to think of things to write about that no one else has written about before, and that's where my creativity comes in. With this skill, I've managed to write dozens of award-winning articles. I use my time management skills to write quicker and more efficiently and help keep myself focused.
As a doctor, I use so many of the skills I learned in DI at work. This includes problem solving, teamwork, and communication. The hospital is often hectic, and it's up to me and my team to take care of any patients that come in. This requires teamwork and communication between doctors, nurses, and other hospital workers. The human body isn't straight up most of the time. It can be confusing. Perhaps I'll come across a disease or illness I haven't seen before. In this case, I need to problem solve to find the root of the sickness and help the patient make a full recovery.
Well, DI is the gift that keeps on giving.
It helps us develop skills that are useful in the present and the future.
We hope you enjoyed learning about DI.
Wow! Thank you so much, teddy bears. Now I have my puzzle pieces back. Well, for a moment I thought I lost all the puzzle pieces. Yes, doing DI can help to train your kids with so many life-changing skills like creativity, budgeting, problem solving, time management, teamwork, communication. Whoa! DI. Oh, I didn't know what happened to my puzzle pieces. Was it a computer virus or something? I'm so scared. I needed to put a mask on it. Now I'm feeling much better. All right. I wanted to emphasize one thing. DI is so different from any of the activities that you sign up for your kids. Even though kids will participate in the tournament at the regional, state, or even global levels, but the winning is not everything. DI is all about giving your kids an opportunity to learn life-changing skills. For example, 30 minutes before their tournament day, their prop was broken because of the wind. What do? Do they just give up? Or do they come together, have a quick meeting, find a solution, divide the job, get the material from their emergency kits, and fix it in time? That is all DI can help your kids learn and do. I hope you enjoy the videos as I do about the DI perspective from the kids. It was a video that the teddy bears put together last week. In fact, exactly 7 days ago, they had a Zoom meeting and they discussed how creatively they can present in this webinar. They understood that how busy they are, because they only had 1 week. The school has started. They couldn't meet physically, and the recording took many hours to do. Finally, the editing and uploading took even more. But they did it. They come together, use the skills that they learned through DI about creativity, time management, and team communication. They did it. So all those skills, I believe everyone expects in the workplace. Lately, I have been interviewing a lot of recent graduates at work. Almost none of them had any experience in the workplace. I have a dream. I'm waiting. One day, a candidate, a recent graduate will walk into my office and tell me that she is ready for work. She has creativity. She can work as a team player. She knows how to do time management and project management, all because of DI. I've been waiting for that moment. In conclusion, doing DI can help to prepare your kids for those skill sets that they will need for a successful career, successful life down the road in the future. That is what I have to say. Now back to you, Kevin.
All right, thank you so much, Sean. As you all may know, parents are a huge part of our DI experience. Even though they aren't able to help us with ideas or building, they still take us out to our weekly meetings and give us tons of support. Now we will have Patrick and Dan, two parents from our DI team, share their experiences from bearing with us for 6 long years.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patrick. My son, Anthony, yes, he's started doing DI in the gigantic teddy bear team 6 years ago when he was 3rd grade. And so for all this 6 years, I really think it's a journey that you get to enjoy as they gradually develop. And then sometimes I see it as a transformation of how far they have become, because you can see how they build their creativity. And when the first couple of years when they started doing DI, they can try to replicate, build something, but they want to go back exactly to the detail. And then they try to build everything as is. And when they try to build their prop, and then all the tools they can think about is using cardboard and using PVC pipe, because that's the thing they know, and then they kind of like be comfortable with. And then, but eventually, and then they get really creative, and they can have all those really out of the box idea, and found out, hey, a broom doesn't necessarily have to be a broom. That can be a witch broom that fly, or they can even be Poseidon's trident, and all different things. And they all have all those ideas, and they all try to fit it into the solution. And of course, during this process, when they're brainstorming, you know, everybody has a lot of ideas. And then everybody really think their idea is the best. And then through the years, and then they learn how to really work as a team. So even though they might have disagreement, they learn to respect each other. They learn to compromise and combine their ideas, collaborate together. And so they can try to put the best solution, put the best effort forward to solve the solution, you know. But it doesn't stop there, because as they find a solution, they turn out, oh, it may not actually work. So they actually have to come back and work on it, refine it somewhat. It's just, to me, it's a continuous learning and continuous improvement procedure. And then they also learn to be really resourceful. They have to learn do different type of things. The skill they're not necessarily going to learn doing in normal school setting. They need to learn how to do electrical wiring, learn some principle about structure engineering, and learn to use different tools, even including power tools. So they can successfully utilize those to help them build their props and trying to build it to their solution. So they learn to resourceful, and then we have so much fun. After the global final last year, we do a dumpster scavenge run to find, hey, when somebody dispose something, somebody's trash, it will be my treasure. And then we say, this part can be used for my next year's solution. We can save all those parts because we need to spend money buying those parts. So we can just save it, and then we can bring it back in our luggage. So we save some money, and then we can use the money wisely in something else. But I think most important of all, I think the kids, they get to learn to be emotionally strong, because as everything in life, they're going to win some, they're going to lose some. They might lose at one competition, but they don't stop. They just continue to say, okay, we know what we have in opportunity. We continue to build on it. So the next time when we go to the state or when we go to the global final, we can get to improve on what we already have so we can do better, and then we can win our challenge. So I think that is really beneficial to them. So as a parent that has been part of this DI journey for the group, I highly recommend Destination Imagination, because if you want to look for a platform or a tool that can help you build your kids' creativity, teamwork, and a lot of different things that mentioned, give it a try. I think you will not regret it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dan. Can you guys all hear me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
My daughter, Chloe, is a member of Destination Imagination team, Gigantic Teddy Bears. Gigantic Teddy Bears, they have been participating in DI since 2014. Chloe is curious and creative. She asks questions about almost everything and anything. And she always has all sorts of crazy ideas. Destination Imagination provides a great opportunity for children like her to explore their unknowns, to experiment their ideas, and eventually they get a chance to turn their ideas into implementation. From doing Destination Imagination, Chloe has learned not only to ask why, also to take initiatives herself to find out the answers through research, through experiments, and to think about all the aspects of the converting a raw idea into action, into reality. One very important thing that they all have learned from Destination Imagination is time management. At the beginning of every DI season, as a team, they first need to study all the challenges. Then they have team discussion, very likely multiple sessions, arguing, discussing about all the challenges. And they will decide which one as a team they want to take. After the decision, they would then design and implement various parts of their presentation, including the storyline, the background, the costume, and everything. All those steps are time consuming. And there's a deadline, the tournament day. So they will need to come up with a plan. The plan needs to be flexible so that it can handle all the unforeseeable situation, yet still meet the deadline. Following the plan, they will need to schedule their tasks accordingly and complete each task on time. In this process, they have learned how to accomplish each job efficiently and how to manage their time wisely. During the past 6 years of doing Destination Imagination, Chloe has grown from a curious, creative baby into a very confident and self-motivated high schooler with excellent teamworking and collaboration skills. All the skills that she has gained from Destination Imagination, problem solving, critical thinking, teamworking, communication, time management, will definitely benefit her in her future endeavor. I strongly promote DI for your kids. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick and Dan. Now let's talk a little bit about how to participate in DI. So I want to start with it's all about our students. We're all here for this purpose. And for DI, we need to have parents and team managers, or also it could be from schools or teachers, we need to organize students into DI teams. The team, once it's formed, they will be taking on DI challenges. They would study and gain in-depth understanding about the challenge. They would generate ideas, have a lot of discussions, and make a plan for their solution. After that, they would start do more study and start building the solution. And they would assess the solution and evaluate and re-evaluate. After that, they would present their solutions in tournaments. And at the end, they would certainly celebrate. And this is like an exciting journey that they can take on. And from here, I would like to emphasize one part about the DI experience. As a team manager, from a team manager's perspective, team manager really has a very important role in DI. And as a team manager, you need to help the team build the skills that would be necessary to be successful. And team manager, we need to teach the kids, like especially when they're very young, teach the kids how to work together in a team. And to empower, to create and facilitate that environment, to empower the kids to think creatively and think out of box. And to me, as a team manager, this is really a great pleasure to work with the team along the way and watch how they have learned and grown. And it is amazing to me that very often I will find them very, very creative. A lot of their ideas are very, like, mind blown to me very often. So to be honest, on the other hand, it is quite challenging to be a team manager, as you can imagine, to many, a lot of cases to have them to work together. But you know, it's the enjoyment and also the excitement totally overweighed the cons during this process to me. So I very strongly encourage parents, especially parents, to take this challenge, to become a team manager and to enjoy these exciting journeys together with your kids. And
well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Well, I agree with Jingguo. No matter how many kids are interested in DI, there's no chance they're gonna have the DI experience without a team manager. That's, unfortunately, it's a fact. No team manager, no team. I can give you my personal experience. 6 years ago, I had no idea about DI, zero, nothing, nada, no experience with DI at all. A few parents met in a garage 6 years ago. We all wanted to do this DI sign up our kids for that. So we look at each other. I don't know whether I had just slight courage in me or not. I volunteered. I signed up something that I had no idea what I signed up into. But that is the best decision I have ever made. I enjoy every single minute working with my kids as well as 5 other kids in the team. It's such a rewarding experience when you can gain their trust, when you can experience their happiness or sadness. It's beyond experience. I have two suggestions. If you're a little bit hesitant to come forward and wanted to become a team manager, 2 things. One, you will have great support from the DI community, including our regional and the state. At the regional level, we have a lot of training. We have a coffee talk that the experienced team manager can share with you. There are a lot of people who are potentially your competitors, but they are so willingly to share their experience to help you. Second, if you feel this job is so daunting, don't worry, get some help from other parents. Get a co-team manager or sign up another parent to be in charge of instant challenge. Sign up another parent to manage all the financials. You don't have to be the only one. Get help and support is there. So I did it 6 years ago, have no regret, and I hope you can join us soon. Thank you.
Kevin.
Okay. Thank you, Sean and Jingle, for giving some advice for our audience. And up next, we will have a Destination Imagination Best of the Bay Region Director, Sharon Kovalevsky, give some closing words. Sharon has known our team for a very long time, and she continues to collaborate with us for things such as club events related to DI and building escapades, which are a series of tutorial videos on how to use tools and other mechanics.
Hi, folks. Well, honestly, what can I say? After the students have presented all of that, I have a grin from ear to ear. We've heard from the parents, we've heard from the team managers, and we've heard from the kids. Those kids are going into 9th grade, not 12th grade, 9th grade. They just are amazing. So I don't know, I hope you're smiling as broadly as I am, because they were pretty fabulous. I'd like to reiterate a couple of things that they said. Jingu told you about the 7 challenges, including, or in addition to instant challenge, so 2 branches of the program. The students told you about 21st century skills. The thing they didn't mention is that we are training young people, these people, to go into a world of careers and jobs that do not exist yet. I'm going to say that again. Their world these kids are going into is a world of jobs that do not yet exist. Just think about 10 years ago, before Uber, Airbnb, Amazon, and the multitude of other technology-driven work environments that are asynchronous now. I mean, we're all learning that word, right? But also discontinuous time environments where people might not be working Monday through Friday. International global relationships. These are environments that we don't know what to expect. And the skills that these students have explained very nicely tonight will be the direction that will support them in their success in the future. So how do you get yourself on a team? Again, Sean and Jingbo did a very nice job with that. I don't know if they mentioned signing up for the list to join a team. Sean did mention no team manager equals no team. So somebody needs to have courage, look for support, and jump in. So up to 7 students on a team. Kindergarten through 2nd grade are called Rising Stars. They are non-competitive a team, just kind of getting their feet wet. Elementary is called elementary, 3rd through 5th. Middle school teams and then high school teams compete in those ranges. So if you have a middle schooler, they're going to go on a middle school team. High school would go to join a high school team. Everything this year is virtual, everything. So we are going to communicate. The kids' video was an awesome example of exactly how teams might work together to develop this collaboration, teamwork, creativity, problem solving, time management skills online in a virtual environment. I think the last thing that I really need to say, and I'm not even sure if I need to say it because it came through so strongly, it's fun. Kids love DI. They get to make the decisions. They get to make a plan. And then, as one of the parents said, they follow it through. They have their ideas and they go from idea to reality. They built it. They are so proud of it. I've been doing DI 20 years and I'm still here. So with that, teddy bears, I would love you to, I don't know if you have the QR code for people to join the list to help them form teams. And then the last thing, I guess, is next Tuesday night. Am I lying? Next Tuesday night, we will be having another meeting, much more boring than this, I think, to help people get together in teams. So you can invite your friends. If they missed the first one, they can come along and join this next meeting. Okay, I think somebody's working on the chat, and if you can share the code, that would be awesome. I thank you all very much for spending your Saturday evening with us. Thank you, teddy bears.
Thank you, Sharon. Kevin.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sharon. Now we'll be having our live Q&A session. Feel free to send any questions that you have into the chat. And now I'll hand the Q&A over to Summer.
Thank you, Sean, Sharon, and Kevin for such an informative presentation. And thank you all so much for coming out and tuning into our DI webinar. We will be moving on to the Q&A portion of the presentation, so feel free to type any questions as you think of them. So I'll start by answering some questions that we collected from registration, and then I'll redirect any questions from chat to the rest of the team so we can share some of our personal experiences and whatnot. Okay, so the first question was really common, and it was, what exactly is DI? And I know it can come across as confusing, like as we already know that it encourages creativity and so on and so forth, but what is DI at its core? So Destination Imagination is a nonprofit organization that brings together thousands of teams per year. DI relies on good habits, persistence, and working together as a team. Every year, there's a couple of challenges that the team can choose from, and from there, they base like their entire project off the chosen challenge. So they'll spend the entire year working on that specific thing. And if you advance from the different competitions, then you can make it all the way to global finals, which is really fun. And sometimes teams get lost when it comes to competition. So DI isn't about competition at its core. Though competition might play a part of it, the true goal is to learn and improve on yourself and develop like all of these cool lifetime skills that'll come in handy when you go out into the real world and find a job. And the second question was, what is the average time commitment in order to start DI? Okay, this is a really good question, but it's hard to give a definitive answer because if the students have never worked together, then they might run into issues in the beginning, which will obviously make them take a little longer to resolve and move forwards. But it all depends on the situation. So however, like it's more likely that the team will meet up for at least 3 to 4 hours a week, not counting the time it takes to make props, like no matter how compatible they are with each other. DI requires a lot of commitment, and if you want to continue throughout the years, it really, like, you really need to be self-motivated to continue, or else you won't be able to finish all the hours of DI. The third question is, as a rookie team, where all members have not had any DI experience, please provide any additional insight on what the kids can work on prior to November when the challenges are released. Okay, so as someone who's done DI for 5 to 6 years now, I've definitely learned a lot from my experiences. I think that if they don't have any experience with DI and that like they've never worked together before, it's really important for them to get familiar with each other and develop like a work ethic that they're all familiar with. We didn't have that in the beginning. We just all randomly met up one day and decided like, oh, this is our DI team. So it's really important in this time to establish a formal way of communication, because that's gonna really help them progress faster and get along faster. And team bonding games are definitely a great way to introduce everyone to each other, as well as creating friendships. So how much would you usually spend on a rookie team in costs? So this question is interesting, but typically for challenges, there's a cost limit for how much you can spend on materials to enhance your skit. And the maximum that you're like probably ever gonna spend on the challenge itself is $200. And it does cost money to register your team and pick up a team number, which should be around $150 if you get the package with the background check. And at first, it might be important for the kids. It might be important for the kids to get used to the materials. So you may need to spend a little bit more on IC materials. The fourth question is, when all challenges are virtual this year, what does that mean? Well, the kids need to wear a mask and be 6 feet apart under the same roof, or can they still accomplish their challenge online remotely? Okay, so virtual challenges mean that the task has to be completed digitally. Like, for example, you can film your skit over Zoom. The challenge likely will require the students to create a skit and film it online. So this is just really gonna exercise editing and communication between the team. So it's really important to establish that like one-on-one connection from each of the team members, so they all know how each other's work ethics are, and that's really important to completing this year's challenge. So the last question from registration was, is there anything us parents can do to help make the experience better, other than enforcing the idea that it's fun? So I'm just gonna redirect this one to our team manager, since I don't have much experience on being a team manager, only a team member. Team manager, you're muted.
Well, Summer?
Yes. Okay, I'll repeat the question. Is there anything us as parents can do to help make the experience better, other than enforcing the idea that DI is fun?
Well, first of all, you can tell that I cannot multitasking. I was answering a question in the chat room, so I didn't hear anything about the question. Sorry, but to answer your question, yes, there are a lot of things you can do to make the DI experience fun. For example, especially for the younger kids, don't make it a task. Don't set the goal as you have to win the first place in the tournament. Make it an experience, something that they can learn every single time when they meet, and something that they can be proud that they accomplished something. We always have some team building activity that we planned, sometimes within the team, sometimes with other teams together in a so-called DI party. In our experience, that the team bonding, they will help so much in the long run if you can make it a fun thing for the kids, something that they look forward every single week. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does answer the question. So there's one question in the chat box. What is the ideal age to get involved in DI? I'm gonna let the other team members share their opinions on this. In my opinion, there is no ideal age. You can start anytime, but that's just my opinion. So how do you guys feel?
Yeah, I believe that it's never too early and it's never too late to get involved in DI. Like DI is such a great program for kids of all ages, and they have for younger kids, they have the Rising Star challenges, so it's not as competitive and it's more tailored towards the younger kids. And there's teams of all ages. We've even seen university teams at global finals before. So really there is no age limit for DI. It's everyone can learn to be more creative, to collaborate better, and to improve their critical thinking skills.
Can I just add on something real quick? Is that DI isn't really about winning competitions, as mentioned by the team managers, but DI is more of a learning experience. So there are the 6 key things you learn from DI: teamwork, collaboration, you have the problem solving, creativity. There's a lot of them, but the main key thing is that it is a team competition. You cannot go into a competition by yourself and expect to succeed. That ruins the point of DI. However, as long as your child is ready to learn and is ready to work with others, it should be a great time to go into DI.
Thank you for your input. Another question is, are kids going to meet in person to work on projects after initial process of team building and brainstorming? So normally how this would work is that, like, if you're first starting to form a team, I guess you would just set a date to all meet up. If you're doing it with people who, like, you don't know that your parents found, then it's definitely going to be an experience. But if you have a whole bunch of your friends, you should be able to just meet up. You should be able to discuss, like, where you want this to go and what your goal as a team is. And that's really important to discuss as soon as you form a team. If you form a team and you have no direction, then it's going to get really confusing once you start making all your, like, props for your project and everyone has, like, a different goal in mind, and it's just really confusing. So I really suggest you guys discuss with each other of your personal goals, where you want the team goals, and yeah, what you hope to see from each other. Okay, we have a lot of questions about how is DI going to work during COVID-19. So I'm just gonna pass that to Sharon to give us some insight.
Thank you, Summer. So of course, the biggest consideration is safety. We need to provide our students with, you know, a variety of new activities to get their brains thinking and to get all of these things continuing on so that we don't lose learning, as they like to say. However, family safety is #1 important. So teams could work completely virtually. Teams could, in fact, never meet all year. Teams could choose to do like a bubble kind of a program where those 5, 3, 4, 5, 16 kids meet at one person's house, but that would be completely up to the individual families and whether they agree to do that. And then if things go crazy in the community, that may be, you know, that may change over the year. So these things are new to all of us. We're, of course, planning all different things. There is, as Sean said, a bunch of training. We've got coffee talks online, and we're working right now on a video that says how do team managers run a remote team. We've got all kinds of support. Very shortly, California DI is running a series of challenges, which are kind of like skills building. And in fact, the teddy bears star in 2 of those videos. And the format of those is that students watch the videos, produce something at home by themselves, and then contribute a little video on Flipgrid so that other students can then see what they did. So we're attempting to create a virtual community sharing ideas. So those are opening up, I think, next week. And we have a bunch of different things online, that training for team managers to support you, and also to support your students online, so that we can encourage you to do DI and give you the best effort. I wanted to say, I think for a first year team, 1 to 2 hours is plenty. The teddy bears have been working for a very long time together, and they know what they're doing. They're down the road. But many of you, it's your first year. So 1 to 2 hours online on top of a day of school online is enough. That's enough. So let's just start simple. Also, I wanted to address the age group thing. You can have multi-age kids on a team. The oldest kid places the team. So if you have a high schooler on the team, then the team competes as high schoolers. However, the goal of this is learning. You need to think about the learning of all students. So if you have siblings on a team and there is 4-year gap, for example, is the younger one actually going to say anything, or are they just going to be completely dominated by all the other older, more agile brains? So you really want to think about, if you have twins, fine. If you have 1 year apart, maybe fine. If you have 4 year apart, I would definitely consider talking to somebody else and finding 2 different teams for your 2 different students. Okay, so we've talked about training, we've talked about CalDI minis, these little kid-driven skill building things. 2 hours is plenty, totally online. Now, the next thing is that the main challenges will not come out until November 1st. So we have a lot of time. So students can work on their instant challenges. Students can work on these skill building activities. There's lots of things to do, but there's no pressure. So it's really just forming a team. You can find a team by kids in your street, kids in your class, friends, relatives, anybody that you know, an outside activity that you have, whatever, however you can make friends and put kids together, that can work to form a team. Is there any other questions you'd like me to address right now, Summer?
I don't think there's any more questions relating to how it's going to work this year with COVID-19.
Then if you can make sure that your names and addresses are in that Google form, we can help connect you all. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh yeah, could you just explain a little bit to everyone how instant challenges are going to work this year?
We don't know. So instant challenges are not publicized yet. So the way they did global finals last year is they gave teams 48 hours to come up with a solution, again, completely virtually, completely online, with students remote distance working. They were not in the same place at the same time. And then they recorded that on video. I don't know if they'll be the same. They may well be the same as that structure, but we are not sure yet. And I was also thinking about rising stars. Obviously, if you have a kindergarten through 2nd grade, they're going to need more support with the technology. So their parents may be filming them work, or other support methods for the younger kids. Does that help, Summer?
Yeah, that does help. So if there's no more, okay, I'm gonna give it like around 10 more seconds for like any last questions. If there's other questions, I'm gonna allow Kevin to wrap this up.
Thank you.
I would just add the last comment is like and when Sharon said that you can have your friends and then from your, from your school, and then you can be total stranger. And then, but if you have the have the interest and have the thing to try to make it fun and have the kids part in DI, by all means join the team. Even though you can be total strangers, just like all six of our family was 6 years ago. And then, but we grow to be really close knit, and then we actually become really close friends. And then it's a learning process, and then it's a journey that grow on you. So I hope whoever decided to join in, they can get to enjoy it just as we did.
It definitely is a way for your child to grow out of their comfort zone and meet new people and from maybe even around the world. When I started DI, I didn't know Rian and Chloe at all. Like I've never seen them before. I didn't recognize their faces. But now we're very good friends, and this is what DI can do for you.
Yeah, I'd like to add on to what Kevin said. When I joined DI, the only person I knew was Angelina, and honestly, I didn't know her very well. But we were all the other 4 teammates and we were all complete strangers. I'd never seen them before, but part of life is learning to develop friendships with people you don't already know. It's about expanding your friendship circle and your social circle, and it's about getting to know more people. You're going to have to meet people who you don't know, or maybe you don't know what they're like, you don't know how they work, but you're going to have to collaborate with them, get to know them, and then you might, just like in our case, become very good friends.
Okay, thank you for adding on. One more thing before we start to conclude the meeting. I would like to remind everyone that there's a virtual coffee talk on September 15th. If they have any more questions that they somehow forgot to ask today, don't worry, you can show up to that meeting and ask any of your questions.
Just 1 minute, I'm trying to find the link, and I'll put the link in the chat because somebody said that that QR code didn't work for them. So just give me one more, don't hang up just yet. I'm trying to find the code.
Sharon, we put the link on the chat. So
Okay.
the link to the form is also there, and the link to sign up for the virtual coffee talk is on the calendar. So that's the link for signing up.
Thank you, Vaish.
All right, I guess this concludes our Destination Imagination information webinar. I just want to thank Sharon, Jinghua, and Sean for taking their time, and Beth, even though she's still with us, and I appreciate all of them taking their time today to share experiences along with Patrick and Dan. We hope you learned a lot today and continue to form your own DI teams. And don't forget to scan these QR codes if you want to know more or if you want to join our club. Thank you so much for coming and have a wonderful evening. Bye.